Recording in progress.
Hello. So this week, plan on being short. I'm gonna start out playing a song. Well, my logic is, if I play the song well enough in the beginning, then I won't want to stop and restart again, because I'll have to replay the song and try to get it right again. So I'll just, it'll motivate me to actually film once and be done. This is actually the second time I'm trying to film because of technical issues, but that's different. Also, my neighbors are being strangely loud, usually very quiet, but now the vague or sort of distant sound of Spanish being muttered is constantly going on right now. I don't mind so much. And we're going to start the song. I kind of came up with the idea, at least back in January. That's when the original file was saved. Here's the lyrics in this software. OneNote. Yeah, January 16th. That's the time I created the lyrics slide for it in that software. So at least back then, I came up with this idea for a song called Daydream HD. Really a fictional product. I've done it before, back in the past, with other things, with cigarettes. And AI Afterlife's a fictional product, and probably other things I've done and made songs about. But Daydream HD, it's been kind of sitting in the back burner for a while. I came up with it in January. It's like the idea, Daydream HD, it sounds like ADHD. And built on it, based around themes of, well, ADHD, obviously, and alcohol, and just generally like TV and internet stuff. We'll see as we get into the song. And yeah, and I kind of like 75% finished it back in January, and then kind of sat around on it for a while until summer came around and I had time to actually learn Blender a bit and prototype the actual product, and that got me more invested in finishing the song, which I did this week. Finished a few bits of the lyrics, moved stuff around, and got it presentable. And started with, it's kind of my weekly project. I started animating it this week. I already built the bottle. I showed it off, or a little still image of it, previously, the first week of doing these journals, and now I've actually animated it. Yeah. This one I made first. I just took what I'd originally made and quickly learned how to make it spin. But really, by it, I mean all of these different individual parts. There's like a circular blue thing that's spinning like a table. Then there's the glass bottle, and the green liquid inside is a separate object, and the cork is a separate object, and then the label is a separate object. And they all have to spin sort of independently, because they're not all the same thing in Blender. And then I saw like errors pop up, like you see here, it's like blank space in between the liquid and the bottle, because everything wasn't perfectly 100% lined up and zeroed out in Blender. So things kind of, as it spins, like the cork moves a little bit relative to the glass, and the liquid moves a little bit relative to the glass, and it kind of looks bad-ish. And plus the label is just a placeholder. And here, that can continue spinning. I don't really have a PowerPoint this week. I'm going PowerPointless. Gotta mix things up, otherwise it gets boring to do the same thing over and over again. And then the second iteration, actually this is, there we go. Second iteration, we want repeat on. I think it's just repeat. Okay, the second iteration actually tried to make it completely. So I took like the image of the tree and put it in there. It's just a 2D little image kind of placed in glass. And I learned how to create fonts in Blender and like make them 3D. So this Daydream HD font here, it's kind of it's the width of the glass, kind of like black text just going all the way through the glass. As it spins, you can kind of see the 3D in it. But still, a lot of the things weren't really lined up 100%. And after looking at it and seeing like there's blank space in between the bottle and the liquid again. After looking at this video a few times, I saw that the cork shifts a little bit, liquid shifts a little bit, and I wanted the tree to be more three-dimensional like the text. So this is the final version where I quadruple checked and made sure everything was lined up 100%. Actually, it took like several attempts at like creating little portions of the video to make sure it was all lined up, and then moving and adjusting various things in Blender until it looks like it's all lined up and set in place. And the tree, I had to learn how to convert this image here into a SVG image, some kind of vector graphics, scalable vector graphics image. And if you port a scalable vector graphics image into Blender, that lets you turn it into a 3D object. So just like the text, the tree, the outlines of the tree at least are three-dimensional and about the same width as the glass itself. So it gives a nice three-dimensional effect. And if I wanted to make it into an actual alcohol bottle, it would need more information on it. It would need like a strip of information on the bottom at least, like 40% alcohol and danger. This is a drug and all that stuff that would be on an alcohol bottle. But because it's see-through, and I like the way it looks, see-through and stuff, don't want to put too much information on it. I had some lyrics on the back, or like a slogan, whatever on the back for it, but I don't know, it added too much noise. So this was mostly of my week's project. I had to learn how to animate in Blender, which was its own one day sort of project, where these videos are 24 frames per second. It's like the Blender default, and in order to make like the model that I created into 3D video like this, it has to render every single frame of the video and like simulate all the lighting and reflections. I think the lighting like bounces off of the things like 14 times to make it look realistic, and has to simulate reflections and refractions and light diffusing, and there are like 5 lights all around to like emphasize that it's made of glass and make it look more realistic. So it has to run a whole bunch of calculations and whatnot to actually get one frame of animation out of 24 per second. And overall it took 1 minute to animate 15 frames, not even 1 second worth of video. because it just takes time to do it. So I had to just program it to spin and then set it up to, for the next like 2.5 hours it took to animate just a like minute and 15-second long or so video. And then I just looped it 3 times to get this, which is about the length of the song. But if I played it a little bit fast, I may have to add like a fourth to it. A bit of a fourth. Yes. So I learned how to animate in Blender enough, or how that generally works. Oh yeah, and it creates like a picture for every frame of animation, and then you have to do like a separate step where you load all the pictures into a separate Blender file and like combine them together into an actual video, which you can then add like lyrics onto and audio to, which I'll experiment with maybe in the coming weeks to actually make a small like, music video. Like I did with Unity a bit, but you can see in Blender it's a lot nicer. Because it takes all that time to render and simulate stuff rather than just trying to do it in real time like Unity did. So, learned animation, learned text in Blender, learned about like images and turning them into 3D objects. And I learned a heck of a lot about like how to place objects and move lighting around and whatnot to make the ultimate video look good. And I could nitpick and find things to change and like try to adjust the lighting and stuff to make it look better than that. But yeah, I think it's fine the way it is. Most of the tutorials I found for how to make glass bottles like this usually go with like a cylindrical sort of bottle. That's a lot easier to make because it has radial symmetry. And I wanted it to look more like a square like this, like a TV or something, because TVs are part of the theme of the song. Anyway, I think that's enough explanation. I don't really want to talk about what the song's about. It's kind of obvious, I think. Those general themes. I just kind of run with those 3 themes along with the themes of the album. And wherever my mind takes me, that's what the song ends up as. Something like that. Anyway, I'm just going to play it. Daydream HT. Let's reset all these to see how we can do here. Daydream HT. I'm always feeling a bit under the weather, so I called a helpline. I fell in love with the operator when she said, "Who isn't it's fine." We packed our bags to move somewhere better, where the weather don't change. We wanted summer to last forever, but the cold came anyway. We settled down in Louisiana, just north of the sea. Who am I kidding? I never settled for anything less than Daydream HD. Embrace the static and be at ease when you're drifting on endlessly in a high definition daydream. was born in an apple orchard. The sky tinted green. It wasn't long till I found my purpose in the static on the TV screen. You can call me crazy if you wanna, but I swear I heard a voice say, in the randomness you'll find nirvana. But how the hell could I care anyway? Oh, you'll find me wherever you go, and whatever you need, you can lose your mind in the constant flow of a high definition daydream. Embrace the static and be how it is. When you're drifting on endlessly, you know, a high definition daydream. You ever feel a bit unmotivated during the old 9 to 5? Well, you can do whatever you want in your head, and you can do it on the company's dime. You are not digging people you're with. Take a lesson from me. Can't talk much when you're down in a fifth of that high definition daydream. Ever wanna relive your life, but without the tragedies? Drown 'em out in the spotless light of a high definition daydream. Embrace the static and be at ease when you're drifting on endlessly in a high definition daydream. Capture the magic disorder brings when you're drifting on endlessly in a high definition daydream. Let's put that down. And that was the whisper version of that song, because it's 10:40 p.m. and I don't want to make too much noise. So just put it very close to the microphone and whisper the lyrics and lightly play the guitar. When I actually play and record it, I'll be standing up and my arm will move down a lot harder onto the strings, and the microphone will be farther away to kind of capture that a lot more emotion in the full version, which I know I can do in front of people and recording and stuff, because I actually played it live for a songwriters thing earlier this week. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I didn't mess up any lyrics or anything, I don't think. hopefully it sounds fine in the whisper version. So yeah, a lot of themes from other songs as well, like static and like streams of video games and TV and stuff, and how they sort of take over one's life or can take over one's life. But it was fun exploring like the relationship between alcoholic ADHD and I guess like internet addiction or dependence. And kind of the commonality between all those is a lack of inhibition. And really, originally when I thought of this Daydream HD idea, it was just like a liquid that induced the effects of ADHD and what that would be like and why people would use it and stuff. But how's that really different than alcohol? Alcohol's intention is to lower inhibitions. So you act more impulsively and your thoughts more impulsive, and you can kind of just live without restraints of the outside world as much while drunk. And sort of the same with TV, video game streams. You kind of get lost in the continuous flow of media. All similar to sort of how ADHD thoughts spontaneously and perpetually sort of pop up. Different neurotransmitters and stuff are effective, like with alcohol it's GABA, and with ADHD it's norepinephrine and dopamine that would be inhibiting one's behaviors and thoughts respectively. But similar enough that I enjoyed exploring the themes of them and making the products and everything. Like I made fictional cigarettes before. I don't know if I ever explicitly talked about cigarette container I made. Like I originally made a 3D model of it in Unity over a year ago, last summer, 2 summers ago? Yeah, 2 summers ago. And then I actually like printed and made a physical version of that out of like a cardstock paper. Actually, here it is. I had to like measure everything out and do a lot of like tests and stuff, prototypes to make sure it all worked, even with the cigarette. And there's like the internal lining of it. Yes, and then like cut it out and paste it all together to make an actual like cigarette container. Oh, it looks like the video is completely messed up. Whatever. As long as Zoom doesn't crash, I'm fine with that. You'll just be seeing a still image of me there. For some reason, the camera, the webcam I have, it tries to like auto zoom or like adjust some features or something in real time. And if you put something like in front of the camera like that, it'll completely freeze it. And if I try to reset it now in Zoom, it will like crash the Zoom software and get rid of the recording. So whatever, I guess you're done seeing me today because of a crappily made product. I don't know if it's on Zoom's fault, or if it's on the webcam's fault, or if it's on some just interaction between the two. Well, I was going to show a bunch of other physical things I made. I guess I'll do that next week. I've talked about this week's song, Daydream HD, enough. That's sort of some of the themes behind it that I don't really care too much about extending the length. Oh, it's this weird way I talk while I have headphones on and I'm listening to myself in a microphone. I'm more whispery and I take pauses between everything I say. I don't talk like that in real life. I'm not doing that on purpose. It just kind of happens as you listen to yourself and get feedback from yourself in real time from listening to yourself in a microphone. Kind of one of my big leaps in learning guitar was that when I started, actually, I got a microphone. I took a microphone that I was using for research and I brought it home and started like listening to myself, talking to it and singing to it. And you really pick up on the small flaws, not really flaws, the small little inconsistencies and mistakes and stuff in your voice, and start working on them. Which is, I imagine, how a lot of YouTubers and then radio hosts and podcasters and stuff develop their voices. They just listen to themselves a lot and record themselves a lot, and whether or not they actively work on it, it just changes your voice over time a little bit. I've definitely noticed over the years, if I stop and pay attention to it, that my voice has changed and become more consistent and less stuttery and less fewer cracks and things like that. And I usually, well, at least when I'm not talking directly in a microphone, recording myself, I talk in a much more flowing sort of way, like a YouTuber, like a podcaster or something. So yeah, I don't know. It's advice that would help somebody, I guess, who's trying to learn how to initially sing or initially do any of these things where your voice is a big part of what you do. You gotta kind of face that demon of listening to yourself. Just like it helped a lot when I started standing in front of a mirror while I played too. That was more after. Well, it kind of developed from recording myself and like watching myself some recordings and stuff, and like how my body moved. But it really developed when I went to the UK and a music festival, and you pay attention to how they move their bodies and stuff. And I intentionally put myself in front of a mirror, or like 2 or 3 mirrors, to see the different angles. And you can kind of see that in some of my previous videos from last year, after last summer, where I had like 3 different mirrors kind of set up to see myself from different angles. Yeah. What else could I talk about as a disembodied voice who can't show you things? And I didn't make a PowerPoint, and I have a variety of things. I was going to show all the different physical things that I've made when it comes to my art. T-shirts, like a picture. I guess the cigarettes and the cigarette box were kind of the big thing I wanted to show you, because that relates to this product as well. Like the cigarettes, that was more about emotions, I guess. Like cigarettes give one energy, and just sort of like unbridled, kind of unfiltered energy. That can be good or a bad thing. And I think it's definitely artificial sort of energy. So I explored a lot of those concepts and stuff with the Vermilion Waves song and that album. And in that album as well, I had a lot of songs that were like fake relationship songs, either breakup songs or like crush songs, whatever you'd call them. I don't know if there's like a title for those. But none of them were really about that. It was all just mostly just like conflicts between different parts of myself. Like there's the id, I guess, as Freud would put it, the flow of information from your body that tells you you're hungry and thirsty and excited and stressed and all that stuff. That's constantly going on. And if you just follow that and you're like a hedonist who does everything for themselves that feels good in the moment, then any sort of long-term happiness is very hard to find. And the opposite would be a eudonist, who is more involved, or seeks more long-term happiness, but to do so you have to have a sort of balance of what your body needs and what the world around you needs, and how to fit into it and accommodate to it. So it was all the songs from my first album were like my personal self singing to my social self, or my social self singing to my personal self, or some variation of those two things, or some of them are like half the song is from one perspective and half the song is from the other, and those colors of red to represent the personal self and blue to represent the more social self. really showed up as images and themes within that, which made their way into my overarching art and the 3D glasses and stuff. And yeah, like the X and O kind of rows as well. It's different themes. And and then with this new album, more about trees, obviously, as it's called, Who Counts the Trees? And apple trees specifically for this, like the red and the green, and their representation of the green being golds and stuff. I already talked about this in some other video. The first one, I think. And what the apples mean. But yeah. What else I was going to talk about? Now I need to sort of counterintuitively take this model that I created and make it less complicated. Because right now it looks too realistic and like too difficult to actually render and turn into a video and animate and stuff. So when I put it in the actual scene or in like a game or something, it needs to be a lot less detailed. So I want the same general shape and then kind of reduce the number of polygons and stuff to make it retain the same sort of appearance and the words and everything, but less detailed. So this will have to go back to being an image most likely and not a complicated 3D mesh. And yeah, and I'll have to recreate the Vermilion Wave cigarettes as well, and then kind of put them into the world. I'm not sure what I'll do next week. I guess whatever, that can be all I talk about this week. Not sure what I'll do next week. I have a few songs that are 100% completely finished that I haven't sang yet for these, so I guess I'll do one of those. But when it comes to like what I'm going to do with Blender and whatnot, don't really know. Not really going to know until the week starts, because I start and I'm mostly interested in trying to get work done and set up meetings and stuff, and then with free time, just whatever happens to pop up in my head that I could work on is what I'll work on. Like this took like a week of learning various things. I probably learned like 24 things in Blender pretty well, and waiting for them to fully animate and turn the videos and whatnot. So I'll find something. I like having like a weekly thing that I accomplished for the videos or towards art. Still need to practice recording in different ways, so I might start recording myself a bit more. Like even like playing for this microphone and stuff. I have no idea how far to set microphones away from the guitar, and for me, and how to do noise reduction and how to set up my other microphones. I haven't really played around with this much. Last album I had my binaural microphones strapped to my wrist actually, so as I played it kind of captured my hand moving back and forth. And I also did like a post recording where I sang into the microphone a little bit after as like a ghostly background singer kind of thing. But I'm not sure. I need to think about not really what would sound good. I don't really care about that too much. I need to think more about how it would fit with the themes of the album. Like I know noise and like static are themes of a lot of the songs in the album overall, and how much should I put into the final product, like on purpose, or should I allow to exist in the final product, and how much should I clean up? But that's gonna take just recording it in various different setups, I guess, and seeing what sounds best, or maybe some combination of the various things I try. Anyway, since I don't have PowerPoint, I don't really know how to end things. I don't really know how to end things. I kind of want to make a song now to be the last song on the album, titled like I have no idea how to end things, or how to end things, or something like that, and then trying to write a song based on that somehow. I'm not sure what the themes would be. It would be funny. Because it's something I've been saying for a long time, like in lectures and in videos and stuff. I have no idea how to end these things. So then my last day of classes, I'm always like, okay, see ya, I guess. Bye-bye. Have a good summer, or have a good break, or whatever. I have no idea how to end this. So, I don't know. It wouldn't really be that hard to learn that skill, I guess. I just have to like pay attention to how other people in things, like think about how other professors in their lectures, how other YouTubers in their videos. Usually YouTubers in their videos and like streamers and stuff with I don't know, trying to send people to their Patreons or to subscribe or something. I'm not really interested in that. And sometimes I do the thing like have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, whatever time it happens to be. But that's kind of too similar to like the Truman Show. I forget his exact line. Like, if I see you, I'm not going to try to remember what it was, but it's something similar to that, where he kind of references like in the morning, afternoon, night, whenever I happen to see you again, I'll see you. It's different enough from that I'm fine with it, but also I want to not just do something that people are going to think is derivative. Then I don't really care. I do enjoy also just trailing on and kind of letting my mind wander. I find it very, therapeutic to just talk without a filter and just see what comes out. But I don't have anything else to talk about. I kind of want to end this and go play video games. Well, just one video game, not, the act of playing video games, I guess. Which kind of goes along with the theme, I guess. And just kind of forget everything about life and live inside of a video game for a bit. It was always really enjoyable growing up to be able to play a game or get into a show or something. And especially with the game, you could play for like 10 hours or something during the day. It'd like even in the weekend. And it just felt like you were in there. And it kind of feels like you're stepping out of... You're stepping kind of into a daydream when you stop playing a game after playing it for so long, and you're like, this is the real world? So strange. And you see objects in the real world and kind of view them as video game objects and stuff. Or when I was using Blender a whole lot at the end of the summer, I would just like walk around and then see Blender like in my head. With real objects, like how it would make them and stuff. Yeah. So getting lost in something like TV or media or a book or whatever, it can be very negative and distract you from the world, or it can be a positive thing. It's more meditative and allows you to escape into a different reality, I guess. I don't know. That's something I've been thinking about more and more as I've been like theoretically planning my own like fake world and my own like video game world and stuff. And I don't want to, when I eventually end up releasing something, I don't want people playing whatever game I make or getting into whatever app I created for 8 hours at a time. I want it to be something more that they can open up a few times a day and play for a little bit and kind of see how it's going. And, or if there's some like 30 minutes of downtime, they can play a little bit. Sort of the approach I want to take with designing that. And on that note, I'm not going to end. On that note, sort of planning my first actual like game to release. There's something very simple to see how the App Store works and whatnot. Like sort of just a very simple, in terms of graphics and sounds and everything, app. That's kind of like an idle game like that if I have 10 minutes of downtime, I can open it up and play it a little bit, like somebody would do with Bejeweled or Candy Crush or something. Or many of the idle games that I like that no one else would know because, I don't know, Farmville or something. If anyone remembers that. What am I talking about? That's enough for today. Or this week. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Or whatever time it is. Goodbye.